Hi everyone, we're back on track in Dubai after a short summer break. Welcome back to Art Capital podcast, and I'm your host, Olga Alexeyeva. This season, we're going to have lots of content dedicated to real estate, business, and investments. In order not to miss our available episodes, please subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, like, comment, and share your thoughts on the discussed topics. All these efforts help us grow. Today, we have a dynamic and bright guest joining us at the podcast. The community also names him as one of the most influential person in Dubai. Dr. Anand Menon is the CEO of Empowered Performance and the global force in entrepreneurship. With over 3 decades of experience, he is a best-selling author, United Nations sponsored trainer, and renowned expert in sales and leadership psychology. Dr. Menon has transformed countless lives and businesses across continents with his innovative approaches to performance optimization, entrepreneurial culture, and strategic leadership. One of his main professional focus is real estate and, of course, in Dubai. And we're excited to dive into his revolutionary strategies and insights. We will be talking about psychology and real estate in UAE a lot today. So let's get started. Good afternoon, Dr. Anand. I'm so happy to have you today at our Capital podcast. And you know that I have 2 passions in this life, psychology and real estate. And you seem to be the person who perfectly combine these 2 fields.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to know that we connect on the topic for today.
Perfect. So how to use psychology in real estate?
Okay, look, it's very simple. People buy from people. However, for me to buy from you, I need to like you. Now, for that, I like someone who's a lot like me. So the whole idea of using psychology here is to be able to mirror and match, not just in the visuals, but even in the language and the tonality, the preferred communication patterns, thinking patterns, and behavioral patterns of your clients, buyers or sellers. The reason is the unconscious message is, I'm a lot like you. It builds the trust extremely quickly, helps you to take control, and more importantly, creates unconscious influence because you're mirroring the client and saying things exactly how he would like to hear it. So you close bigger deals, you close them faster with minimum resistance because you've understood how this person thinks, processes information, and how they prefer to have it communicated with them. That's where psychology comes in and gives you the edge in sales and real estate.
I think our podcast today will have 2 parts. So in the beginning, we'll talk more about real estate, and then we'll jump into the field of psychology. So from your perspective, what makes Dubai one of the most attractive investments nowadays on a global scale?
Okay, real estate, if I had to use another word for it, is infrastructure. You cannot have real estate booming if the economy is not in a healthy space. So I think the reason why Dubai real estate is at the top of the world today is because when you look at the economic agendas of the Emirates, United Arab Emirates, and Dubai in particular, we're aiming to become number 1 on the planet.
Yeah.
Our goal is to remain at number 3 by 2033 and get to number 1 in the world by 2040. In 16 years, we're aiming to become number 1. So therefore, our economic policies, business environments, financial transactions and transparency, opportunity, quality of life, health and safety, all have to compare with the best in the world, if not better. It's the only way you can take that top ranking position and attract the best in the world to come. So when you look at the policies that have been set out in line with the vision of our ruler, Sheikh Mohammed, you will see that this city is actually overperforming in comparison to the traditional leaders for the last 50 years in the world.
Yeah, indeed.
And it is not possible to double your economy, to open 3 new business corridors, to add 400 more cities into your trade map without having infrastructure doubling or growing proportionately. That's where real estate comes in. And because our agenda is to become number 1 on the planet, we see very aggressive developments, both commercial as well as residential. Hospitality and tourism, we are aiming to be the best in the world again. So these are the driving factors behind why real estate is in such high demand. In addition, because of the vision and trying and going to number 1 position, the millionaires of the world have all given their tick to Dubai.
Yep.
Even if you look at this year, the highest number of millionaires worldwide are relocating to Dubai. People who have the opportunity to walk into any city on the planet, they can buy into the city on a residency-related long-term program, but they are choosing Dubai. We have the highest number today. For every 2 millionaires coming into for every 1 millionaire coming into countries like the US, Singapore, Australia, or Canada, there's 2 that's choosing the United Arab Emirates. So it's the elite of the world who are actually telling you, you should be in Dubai.
What else makes Dubai as the best city for living and working here?
Okay, I think when people want to come to a new city, they're looking for opportunity. You need to have good work opportunity. You need to have good business environment because entrepreneurs are moving in here as well. You need to have friendly taxation policies because people would like to have a bigger take-home packet. You need to have safety. You need to have world-class healthcare, education, quality of life. You need to have the ease of access to money. You need to be very proactive about artificial intelligence, digital currencies, because the whole world is going online, and hospitality, tourism. All of these factors combine. So you need to provide the best kind of lifestyle opportunity to people, and you have to be even not biased to certain communities, religious preferences, community lifestyles. Today, Dubai is one of the most open cities on the planet. We welcome everyone into our city, and we actually make it easy for you to come in because, like our people here, we want everyone else to enjoy the quality of life and the opportunity that we provide. That's the reason why Dubai is excelling today, and the best cities of the world are losing their people, and they're all choosing Dubai.
Yeah. So Dubai attracts so much attention from all over the globe. You know
True.
that I travel a lot to different foreign countries, and I can feel this interest and see interest and attention. There are so many people, especially nowadays from US, who are looking to relocate here to Dubai with families, with their businesses, with everything, for the reasons you have mentioned above. But you know, there are also some negative events that can have a bad impact on the overall image of Dubai. For example, after the recent flooding that took place this spring, I had a client who was seeking for purchasing some properties here. But after he heard about flooding in Dubai on the news, he was scared. You know, he was scared. Also, now so many people are talking about the war which takes place in our region in the Middle East. And I had another client who also refused to purchase a property here after the war started. So what can you say about that?
Okay, let's take them one at a time. And I think it's really important. I have addressed these on several other podcasts. So yes, there is a genuine concern that people have. The first thing I would like to state before I answer this is most of the people, particularly from outside Dubai, are basing their concerns on opinions of people and things they might have seen or heard, but they've never factually back-checked any of this information. So let's now look at both of these, and I'd like to put some facts on the table for this.
Yeah.
So the first thing is let's look at the flood. The flood that we had in April was really, really bad. And everybody accepts that, including us in Dubai. But let's look at the history of floods and rains in Dubai. In 75 years, this was the first time we had rain like that. So what does that tell you? This is not something that happens here.
Yeah.
If it has come in 75 years, this is something that no government would prepare a city for. No government on the planet, no matter how forward-thinking you are, sits at a table and says, let me imagine something that might happen in 75 years and let me build a response system for that. Which city does that? No one does it on the planet. That's the first thing. So we need to be realistic about what has happened. Secondly, the people who live in Dubai, did anybody leave the city as a result of that flood? Not even one.
Nothing of the
So
kind.
the reality on the ground and the perception are two different things. Now let's look at what actually happened. We had 254 millimeters of rain that fell in one day. In one day.
Yeah.
That's the amount of rain that falls in the UK in 5 months.
Yep.
If that much rain fell in London on one day, London would be underwater.
Yep.
Secondly, let's also look at what happened in terms of responses. So let's take a real situation. Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans in the US. 254 millimeters, the same amount of rain fell in 2 days. It took 2 months before 25% of the people could return to the city, 4 months before 50% of the people could return to the city, and it took 9 years to rebuild New Orleans. In 5 days, Dubai was back on its feet. And 3 days into the reign, we already had the rulers announcing an 80 billion dirham storm drainage system for an event that might happen in 75 years.
Yeah.
So we need to be real about a few things. We're talking about an event that doesn't happen. We're talking of a government that has responded lightning fast in case such an event probably happens in 60 to 75 years. Now, look at all the developed countries in the world. They have storm seasons every year. They have tornadoes so they know it is coming every single year. And with all their technology and the guarantee that it will come every year, they still flood it every year. So why is it okay for the best cities in the world to have regular seasons and keep getting flooded, but not okay for a city to have a flood once in 75 years? There is no logic to the reaction here.
I agree.
They cannot prepare for it even when they know it is going to come. And they expect this city to be able to do that, just not being realistic about it. I did some more research, and this comes from statista.com. From 2005 to 2022, in 17 years, there were 3,000 major city floodings. That's 174 floodings every year. That's literally 14 floodings every month. For 17 years, we've had 4 cities, major cities, being flooded every single week. And that's okay for the world, but Dubai wasn't okay?
Actually, I was here in Dubai on that day in April, and I was witnessing everything with my own eyes. And I know that the government did their best to solve the issue. It was very
Absolutely.
unexpected, and everyone actually was warned very well in advance. Very well in
Absolutely,
advance.
absolutely.
So if you just stayed at home on the day, your car would
You
be
were
safe.
okay. And you will
Yeah,
never find such a response system anywhere on the planet.
exactly. Exactly. I agree.
Now, so the second one about
Yeah.
the war. The war is sad, and we all want it to end fast. However, again, I like to help people put things into perspective. People are asking questions about when is this going to end? We don't know how it's going to happen. Nobody has an answer to that on the planet. Not even the presidents of the best countries in the world with access to all their technology, red phones to speak to each other, even they cannot tell you when this is going to stop or how. How can you and I answer that question? So what I normally tell people is, firstly, don't get into speculative conversations about anything, because speculation breeds fear and negativity. And we might be speculating on something that might not even happen. So it's not a very real conversation. Secondly, with Gaza, which is a sad situation and we want it to stop. A lot of people have intensely personal feelings about Gaza. Some of them have spiritual and religious feelings towards it.
Yeah.
I don't believe that as business professionals, we should be engaging in those kind of conversations with people, because you do not know how to handle the religious tones and sentiments of people. And if someone gets emotionally engaged in that conversation, it's very hard to bring them back into the logic and the practicality of a good investment opportunity.
Yeah.
So I usually advise people not to speculate when the best governments in the world cannot answer it. What I can do, however, is talk about fact. And the reality is, even with everything that's been happening for the last 11 months there, Dubai is breaking records year after year and having the millionaires and the billionaires of the world continuing to relocate and come here. So let's look at the facts on the ground. We had 166,000 millionaires who invested 364 billion last year. This year, we're already at 150,000 millionaires who have invested almost 450 billion dirhams by end of last month. So the war is still going on. These millionaires and billionaires, the 150,000, are aware of it. Are we suggesting they don't know the consequences of the war? But it is not stopping them from giving their stamp of approval to Dubai and confirming it by actually investing in the city. The millionaires of the world are still choosing Dubai as the number one relocation for this year, with the war happening next door. So I would advise any buyer or seller, or even for that matter, the salespeople, that base your approach on the fact you got the world supporting you with the performance on the ground. I think that's what people should look at more than speculate about what might happen.
I know that whatever is going on outside the UAE, here everything is always secure and stable. And this is
Absolutely.
actually why even my family decided to move in here. This is the best city to live in and work.
100%. I would encourage anyone to come and visit Dubai for just 1 week.
Yeah, just to
1
compare.
week.
Just
Just come and visit our city.
Yeah.
Look at the spirit of Dubai. Look at the energy, the vibrancy. Look at the open-mindedness, the cultural tolerances, the
Quality of
certain-
people.
Look at everything. 1 week. Visit Dubai for just 1 week. And I guarantee you, you will fall in love with this city and you're going to change how you feel about it.
Yeah. How do you see the future of Dubai? What do you think about it?
Absolutely brilliant. I told you in the next 16 years, we're going to number one. I personally feel, but I cannot back this with fact. The fact is by 2040, we aim to be the number one city in the world. I don't think we're going to take that long. I think we're going to get there very, very quickly because every economic indicator, every population indicator, every quality of life indicator, every brand positioning and perception indicator are all giving Dubai the green light. So I honestly see that the future of the world is in Dubai. The best cities in the world are losing their biggest taxpayers and millionaires, and they're all picking Dubai over anything else. If you look at London, it's a 2,000-year-old city. New York is 490 years old. Toronto is 230 years old. Singapore took 59 years to be where they are, and it's an absolutely amazing city. In 24 years, we're 50 years old as a country, 53 years old, but the Dubai that we know today started from the year 2000. In 24 years, we have outpaced every one of the cities that I've mentioned before. 24 years.
I have no doubt in it.
Absolutely.
Now everyone is talking about Master Development Plan 2040, and you have already mentioned it in our interview. So far, it looks really very ambitious and promising, I would say. What do you personally think about this government initiative, and could you please shed a bit more light on this Master Development Plan?
Okay. Firstly, I absolutely believe in the vision of the government. We are the only city that actually has published a 16-year vision and plan on the internet for the world to see. Tell me which city or government has gone out and put on the internet what we plan to do for the next 10 years.
I don't know anyone.
Exactly. So now, when you put it out there, and when today you are a city that's highly visible and in the spotlight, you're literally committing to the world, this is what I'm going to be doing. So it's a clearly thought out strategy. And if you look at just the last 3 years, we've seen how we are in line with what we have been planning. Now, 2040 is a little beyond. I think what's more attractive is the 2033 agenda. What we do in the next 9 years, the Dubai Economic Agenda 2033. That is the platform and the launch pad for the further evolution of 2040. 2033 is not operating separate from 2040. It's part of that larger agenda. But all the foundations, all the momentum that we need to create as a city to achieve number one status is coming up in the next 9 years. We're going to double our economy in the next 9 years by 2033. We are doubling foreign direct investments to $650 billion. We are adding 400 new cities every year for the next 9 years into our trade map. That's 45 cities every single year in the next 9 years. That's almost 4 cities a month, 1 city every week. Show me which city has such an aggressive agenda that they're signing new trade agreements and opening channels with 1 city every single week. We are building the largest airport in the world to handle 260 million passengers, which will be ready by 2030, and we're putting 128 billion dirhams into that. We're opening new economic corridors to Southeast Asia. We are opening it to Latin America and to Africa, which is the emerging giant of the future. Our plans are incredibly aggressive, but it is well thought out on solid foundations. We are adding 400 kilometers to beaches. We are putting 168 square kilometers of industrial and economic zones coming up in the Dubai South area. We are adding an additional 134% area to hospitality-related areas. On the eco front, we are actually building a solid, tangible ecosystem, environment system, because we know for the aggressive growth that's coming, there is going to be a lot of pressure on the environment. And we've learned the lesson from the other cities and what they've done. We're building into the oceans, we're going into the deserts. We know what we are going to do and put pressure on the planet. So we're making sure from now itself, all our communities are green-blue.
Yeah.
Water and greenery, so that we take away the heat generation and the pollution from all our communities. We're coming with dark sky policies. We are now giving 10-year visas for people, the blue visas, for environment specialists who've been working tirelessly around the world, sometimes in countries that aren't even listening to the advice of them. The message from Dubai is clear. We want to listen to you and we want to integrate you. Please come to Dubai. So this is why we are going to be the next big thing. 2033 and 2040 is going to position us as the best city in the world. And these are leading into the 2071 Centennial Plan. So that is when the UAE completes 100 years as a country. So our plans are aggressive, but are we achieving them? Just look at the numbers every single day. Every major announcement coming out is saying, in line with the Dubai Economic Agenda 2033, the government is launching 1, 2, 3. So we're just seeing everything is gearing towards that. And the vision, unbelievable. For me, sometimes it's just not. I know that there are a lot of cities that do have vision, but people are disconnected from their governments. Not in Dubai. This is the spirit of Dubai. And I've said this several times, and I'll never tire of saying it. We cannot come to a city like Dubai. Not you, not me, not the millionaires of the world. We cannot come to Dubai, live the best quality lifestyle, set up our businesses, make our money, and leave it to Sheikh Mohammed and his team to drive the city into the future. Every one of us is responsible for this and must become ambassadors for the city of Dubai. This is the spirit of our city, which is in our people. Every one of us has to be ambassadors for Dubai. This is the reason why today we are outpacing most of the other cities where the peoples are disconnected from their governments and more worried about their day-to-day life and how do I put bread on the table for my children. That's important for us also. But we are contributors to the future of the best city in the world.
Besides Dubai, everyone is aware of the fact that this is really the best city to live in. We also have some neighborhood emirates,
Absolutely.
like Abu Dhabi, the capital of UAE, and the Northern Emirates, Ras Al Khaimah, with its Al Marjan Island, and you know that the biggest American casino operator, Wynn Resort, is already building its building on Al Marjan Island. The building is constructed by 23%. I was presenting, by the way, this investment opportunity in US around 3 weeks ago. What do you think about these investment opportunities? Are they worth it? So we can discuss separately Abu Dhabi and Ras Al Khaimah with Al Marjan opportunities.
Okay, I think both of them are great opportunities. If you actually look at the Knight Frank Destination Dubai 2024 report, it will show you that these two areas are also attracting a lot of opportunity, but there's a slight difference in the personality of the investors. Abu Dhabi is extremely popular with the GCC countries, nationals. So it is having a very, very high investment and interest being shown by GCC nationalities here. Ras Al Khaimah, like Dubai, has gone international. So Abu Dhabi is doing very well for sure, and especially now that there are many areas in Abu Dhabi which are freehold where you can own, and they're coming up with some dynamic tourism, economic plans for the future. So I think Abu Dhabi is going to do really well. We don't believe or we don't see in Dubai these as competition. We complete each other. When the whole United Arab Emirates is raising its stock globally, then every city benefits from the others. For example, what Dubai has done in the last 20 to 24 years, Abu Dhabi benefited from it, Sharjah benefited from it, Ras Al Khaimah has benefited from it, and we are all brothers. So we are proud when we see our neighboring Emirates actually doing well. Abu Dhabi for sure is going to do well. There is potential of future as a casino coming in there also, but there's nothing as a fact to support that now. RAC, absolutely brilliant. Anyone who's invested in the last 3 years in RAC are already laughing to the bank. They have made some incredible amount of money, and RAC is going to become a shining star in the United Arab Emirates. Not just because of the casino, but yes, the casino changed the whole image of investments in that area. Now, as a result of the casino, you have a lot of other sectors that have started to boom in RAC and become opportunities. Hospitality is on the rise because of the island lifestyles, the tourists that are going to come in there, and the waterfront opportunities. So you see, hospitality has benefited. Tourism is benefiting because great waterfront lifestyles, culture, heritage, the mountains are there. And you're going to see new commercial opportunities also coming up there because the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah is opening up with lifetime visa opportunities also. You can see real estate already booming in the last 3.5 years. So different industries are actually benefiting. We now have RACDAO, the Digital Assets Oasis. The first digital assets free zone in the world is in Ras Al Khaimah, and the future of money is digital. So you can see even digital assets are going to start flourishing. Electronic monies are going to become a big thing in the future, and Ras Al Khaimah is going to be the seat from where it operates. And the good thing is, being a free zone, every emirate will benefit from this. So if you're looking at Marjan Island and you're looking at RAC, waterfront particularly, it's an absolute winner. The reason Dubai is still outpacing all of them is Dubai is like this bouquet of flowers. There's just not 1, 2, 3 attractive opportunities. There's multiple opportunities that come together. So even without the casino right now, which will come in the future, even without that, we are leading and way ahead of these other emirates because we, as a city, we are truly global today. So we can hold our own with our agendas and continue to get the population to come. For example, the millionaires of the world are choosing Abu Dhabi and Dubai. They're not choosing Ras Al Khaimah. And when they come in, they're looking at multiple facets, their whole business ecology and environment, the taxation, the quality of life, access to manpower, entrepreneurial setups. They're looking at logistics, the airports, the ports, and all of that. And none of the other cities or emirates here can even compete with Dubai right now. So we will hold our own and we will continue to grow. And remember, the agenda is for Dubai to be number 3 and become number 1 in the next 16 years, not for Abu Dhabi or Ras Al Khaimah. But they are absolutely amazing opportunities.
Would you personally invest in Al Marjan Island? Definitely.
No question about it. However, I won't answer questions about where on Marjan Island or with who. As an ambassador for Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, I wouldn't push or promote one particular area or one particular developer because I wouldn't be fair if I attracted attention to one particular area and I did not equally promote the other areas. But if you had to ask me, yes. Marjan, yes. Dubai, yes. Abu Dhabi, yes. Definitely. No question at all about that.
Since the real estate market here is booming, you know that there are so many real estate brokers and agents who are coming here. And I think maybe a couple of years ago, some of unprofessional brokers, they a bit ruined the image of Dubai real estate market. So how would you differentiate a professional real estate agent and unprofessional real estate agent?
All right. What you said is true. Honey attracts flies. When you have a city that is in the spotlight and the whole world is coming in, many of the people who are coming in, while they may be experts and have experience in their parts of the world, they're new to this region and definitely to Dubai. So opportunists will definitely show up. So we can see quite a few of them around, but at the same time, we got some very hardworking, loyal, professional brokers with genuine intent, wanting investors and homeowners to get great property and opportunities. So how do you differentiate an agent? I would say the first thing you should do is look even in the kind of company that they work with. Because I honestly do not believe an agent with high morals, ethics, and intent to become an ambassador for real estate will continue to waste his time in a small agency that does not even believe in investing in them. I don't have anything against a small agency. What I have is against the small agencies and the big agencies that don't care about the clients, that don't care about their brokers, that don't invest in the proper marketing, in the proper ethical business strategies, in training and developing their brokers, rewarding them correctly, creating the right business and cultures, having the right kinds of directors and heads of sales. And as long as we have companies that allow unethical practices or turn a blind eye when you have senior people also that abuse the system, I have something against those kind of companies. So never work with people who come from the agencies that have got the wrong pedigree or history and legacy in the market. Today, everything is easy to reference and fact check in Dubai.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there could be some very small agencies. I personally work with a few of them who have got the right intent. Their heart is online with their business. They do very good recruitment, invest in their people, good marketing, genuinely want to help the buyers because they care about their name.
Yeah.
So they will have a good reputation. Please go ahead and work with the brokers from there. And always, always make sure you verify that the brokers have got their RERA IDs and that they are working on actual visas and have the MRSA. All the government documentation has been taken care of.
Yeah.
So we need to fact check these before we even start to discuss an investment opportunity with these kind of people. So to summarize this, you can get good people in the big agencies as well as the small agencies, and you can get bad people or unprofessional brokers in the big as well as the small. So fact check the agencies, fact check the broker, and if both the boxes are ticked, please go ahead. We would love you to be an investor in our city.
Okay, perfect. So what real estate companies are winning the market now? In general words, with no names, just generally speaking.
I mean, a lot of it was in my previous answer already. I believe the vision and the intent of the company is key. Just being here to make money, there's no way you will care about morals and ethics and values because my only intent is money. So I will compromise. So you have to look for companies that have got grand vision, good legacy, background and history. Even if it's a new brokerage, it is set up by someone who has a history, who has a legacy. Check that out. Check what's the philosophy of doing business in the market. What is the intent? How do they choose developers? Do they choose developers because it's genuinely good developers, good locations, or are they just going for the guys who give you a higher percentage of commission? Because if they're giving a higher percentage of commission, they're probably struggling to sell. The unit is not attractive or the opportunity. So I want to attract the brokers through extra money so they can sell an average unit.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to look at some of those things. And again, the professionalism of the brokers, the attitude, their awareness, strong industry knowledge, good, credible international and local reports, clear understanding of the business policies and agendas of the city, because the attractiveness of your investment is directly connected to the attractiveness of the city that you're investing in. If they cannot show you why Dubai is attractive, they will never be able to convince you that the opportunity is attractive. So they need to have good global trend data. They should have a good sense of how the economic agendas are aligning or exceeding the expectations globally. Because if I cannot show and my trends are just like anybody else, then people have options.
Yeah.
Why would they choose Dubai? Then you have to look at their skill sets, their ability to engage with people, the approach that they use, the professionalism, the original intent of the person. When you find these kind of companies, they are going to rule the market because they should reflect the spirit of Dubai. Look at Sheikh Mohammed's intent to build the best city in the world. Why? Because he loves his people and he wants them to have the best quality of life today, not 20 years in the future. So that intent is there in the companies that do well in Dubai, not just real estate. They could be hotels, they could be malls, or any company for that matter. When the intent is to build and be part of the DNA of that vision of the ruler and the city, those companies are guaranteed to do well.
By the way, I remember that you have mentioned in one of your interviews that the traditional cycle of real estate with its ups and downs doesn't exist in Dubai anymore.
Correct.
Why?
Okay, traditional cycles go through economic cycles as well. So you will always have an upturn when the economy is starting to boom, and then that's where you'll find the developers, the off-plan, are heavily in the market. It becomes a seller's market to a large extent, and they are driving by putting out opportunity in the market. But within 3 years, 3.5 years into that cycle, when handovers start happening, when ready units become available, developers usually slow down because that inventory coming out into the market is now starting to attract a lot of buyers. So with that oversupply starting to come in the market, the developers do not feed the oversupply. So they move back, they apply different strategies at that point to sell the ready inventory with them, international roadshows, etc. And then they allow the market to absorb the units that are coming in. Now, the reason this happens, that once ready units are coming out and then there is an oversupply in the market, is because the economies are largely flatlined or having marginal growth. Now, therefore, when they're having marginal growth, they're not attracting new populations. They're not diversifying into new business and economic sectors. They're not creating more infrastructure. As a result, the demand is not equally growing within the economy. So as a result, there will be this dull period when there will be slowdowns. That's in your traditional cycles because you have traditional economies. The economy of Dubai is not traditional. We are looking to double our economy in the next 10 years. How could you do that without infrastructure? We have a 70% increase in population. We're moving from 3.6 million to 6 million by 2033. 250,000 new residents are coming in every single year. So when you have a growth which is fast-paced, consistent, over the next 10 years, there's always going to be a requirement to have more and more property because we don't have homes for enough people and the world is coming. So in the traditional cycle, you see for 2 to 3 years they're launching, then there is a slowdown. Here we can't do that. Whatever launched in the last 3 years, 4 years is being absorbed in the ready market just like that today. We've seen a jump in the ready home transactions. So the developers are still continuing to launch. In the traditional cycle, that doesn't happen. There's launches, there's a slowdown, then there's ready homes, and then the launches start again. Now we have had launches, handovers, launches continuing. That's why it's a new cycle. It has broken the traditional cycle because the launches of today are to make sure by 28, 29, and 30, we still have inventory because people are coming, 250,000 every year. The ones that were launched in the last 3 to 4 years are all going to be absorbed by then. I cannot wait for 2028 when we have no homes and then start launching again. That is how a traditional cycle would work. So we need the homes at that point in time. But for those to be available, the launches must happen today. That is the reason why we are not having the typical bell curve.
Yeah.
We are now having a growth model that is going in a slightly different manner. So it's going up a little bit of slow it down is there because there are options in the ready market. They get absorbed very quickly. Immediately from there, the next starts. And then the next. So we are in this upward trend. It's a completely new cycle. For the first time in the history of the world, there is a new property cycle.
Sounds great and promising. There is another myth I heard so many times in Europe and North America and CS countries that, oh, Olga, you have a bubble on the real estate market in Dubai. And once I hear that, I just show them, look at the UBS Global
Real Estate Bubble Index report. Yeah.
Market report. And Dubai takes one of the last, I think, places.
Number 3 from the bottom.
Yeah, number 3 from the bottom. So it's still in the green zone. How could you comment on that?
Again, very easy. Firstly, anytime someone tells me Dubai is a bubble, I turn around and tell them very simply, it is important that markets are good for you to make money. When you say Dubai is a bubble, where exactly did you get that from? I never get an answer till today. Where exactly did you get it from? You ask a specific question, they go away. Everybody's talking about it. That's gossip.
Yeah.
I asked, where exactly did you get it from? They cannot quote any source. They'll tell you it's all over the internet. I have friends. I had an investor 3 months ago, Japanese guy. And he said, listen, I have friends who work in banks. He mentioned Standard Chartered. My friends are in banks. And the money people get to know first when things are going to collapse. I said, do you mind if we call your friend right now? Do you think he's going to call the friend? No. I said, I'd love to talk to your friend. So they come with all these ideas and perceptions. Then my second question to them always is, I said, by the way, what exactly is a bubble? And most of them cannot explain it. A bubble happens in any industry when there is sustained, continuous growth in that industry, but the economy is flatlined or with marginal growth. So the gap is widening over the months. So because there's nothing to fill the gap, it collapses. That's the bubble.
Yeah.
When you have an economy that's doubling in the next 10 years, we are one of the highest GDPs in the world today, competing against the Chinas and Indias. You have that growing upwards. You're opening 3 new business corridors. You've got 400 new cities coming into your business maps. You're doubling foreign direct investments. There's a 70% increase of population happening. So when you have all these lines going upwards, you expect real estate to go this way? It is riding the trend of economic agendas, population movement, millionaires migrating, foreign direct investments coming in, and there's 20 other criteria I can give you straight away to show that it is sitting on a very strong foundation. It cannot collapse. And then I bring in the UBS Global Bubble Index report, because now there is an understanding of why it is fair valued and is not going to collapse.
Thank you so much for this explanation. It's going to be very valuable, especially for my investors and clients. So now, can we please jump into the field of psychology, one of my favorite topics, because I hold some psychological degrees in my background as well. So from your perspective and experience, what psychological factors influence clients' decision when they are trying to purchase a property for investment purposes?
All right. Okay. There's 2 factors that have to be taken care of. We have left brain, right brain, both of them in our head, right?
Yeah.
These were given to me not to increase my body weight. They're there to support each other. There are some people who absolutely believe investors are hardcore logical, and so they won't have emotion in making the decision. Completely wrong. And there are others who believe even for homeowners, it's an emotional decision, so it's not based on logic. Again, completely wrong. Both are required to be able to close your deals powerfully and quickly. I need logical certainty as well as emotional certainty. The logic justifies the opportunity. The emotional certainty confirms that the logic has made sense. Let's do this. So the psychology here is to ensure that logical certainty and emotional certainty are both being achieved throughout the selling engagement, not just at the beginning or at the end. Because at any point, if the two do not connect, you're going to lose trust and rapport, and the client is going to disconnect. The second way the psychology works here is we are all creatures of unconscious pattern. None of us are randomized. We don't just wake up and say, I'm going to do things completely different today. We're controlled by patterns. Now, patterns are historical, based on the past. So I don't know your past experiences, your past belief systems, the cultures you come from. You're not here to give me an insight into who you are, but you will give me multiple indicators. In an average 10-minute conversation, there will be over 400 indicators you will throw out at me. These come in your tonality of voice. It will come in the framing of your sentences, whether you prefer to ask questions or give me facts, long sentences, short sentences, the choice of words that you use, the manner in which you communicate what you're saying, the energy levels, the gestures, all of these are throwing out indicators every single moment about who you are in here and what are your past experiences, how you prefer to think, how you prefer to process information, how you prefer to communicate, and how you prefer to make decisions. So any salesperson who's ignoring these things is going to face a wall, and he's going to face a lot of challenges. It's not that they cannot close, but it will be a much harder road to closure. Volumes generated will be much lower, and the comfort of the client may not be the same in it. So it's really important to work with the client on the inside. What influences him? People buy from people they like, but people like themselves.
Yeah.
So
True.
now, how do I know who you are? By understanding the indicators that you give me. So if I don't know who you are, how could I become the person that you like to see when you're making a decision? Psychology will help you to do that.
Okay. Yeah. What, one moment. Can you share, please, how psychometric profiling can help you to assess and improve the performance in your real estate sales?
Again, psychometric profiling is not the only tool I would use, but it's definitely a strong indicator.
Yeah.
I would give it a place of about 40 to 50% in my recruitment strategy. Is the report good? Yes, you can get between 90 to 98% accuracy depending on which type of instrument you use. So, but that 90 to 98% is only 50% of my recruitment approach. It has confirmed to me that this person has the temperament, the behavioral patterns, the thinking approaches that actually work for the nature of the job that I have. So I should also be predefining what do I want in my broker so that they would be effective and successful. Once I know what I want, then I choose the kind of profiling instruments that help me to identify that based on unconscious past history and pattern. Because when a broker walks into my company, he doesn't leave his past outside the door. He brings it in with him. And then he's going to bring those same behaviors onto the workflow. So the first thing I will do is I first identify what I want, then I choose the profiling instruments to confirm this guy has that as a pattern. Now I will train and sharpen him. So in the rest of the interview, I confirm again physically what the instrument has shown me. So I do role plays in my interviews. I give them scenarios and situations. So I would say, Olga, let's say you are presenting this 4-bedroom villa in Dubai Hills Estate, and the client suddenly tells you it's really too expensive. How would you deal with a situation like that? Now, there's no salesperson that can fake this or lie. He's going to have to show me. And because he's under pressure in the interview, and sales, by the way, is pressure, I know what he shows me is typically what he would do with the client.
Yeah.
So now in this moment, when I ask him a question like this, he's going to reach into his unconscious pattern. He's not going to create at that moment. So he will reveal to me what's his typical approach. Or let's say it's a phone conversation and I need to engage. I would ask him a simple question. What are the 4 things you want to find out before you would even offer a meeting on the phone? Now here they might give me a story. Then I would tell them, turn your chair around, no eye contact because you don't have that on the phone. Make a call to me right now in the interview. And by then he's probably forgotten the 4 things he's already said. And I'm checking to see, does he actually look for that? So his unconscious pattern will come out as pressure, and it might be completely different to what he has said. If it is aligning, well done. I know that this guy is who he says he is. So I go into behavioral interviewing, role-playing interviewing. I don't interview from a CV anymore. It's a sheer waste of time, particularly with salespeople.
Okay. What advice would you give to an average real estate agent who wants to further develop him or herself professionally and personally here in Dubai real estate market?
Okay, my first concern would be is why is he average?
Why is he average?
Why is he an average agent? So my first job here would be to sit with the person and understand what's the reason you're average. Because even good companies have got people who are not pulling their weight. So it will probably have something to do with his mindset and the way he believes in himself, the opportunity, the market, the discipline that he has, and the way he works. So I will first find out what's the reason, because I don't believe people with winning mindsets, strong attitudes are going to be average. They will leave that environment and find the winning ones. So if he's average, there's a very, very, very high probability he's average in here.
Yeah.
So that's where
Good
I have
highlight. Good highlight. Yeah.
That's where I have to go to first. Then when I find, for example, I might have a bright young person new in the industry who's come. His results may be average, but he's sharp in here. Now his results are average only because he's new. He doesn't have network yet. He still needs a few months to understand the dynamics and the DNA of the market. So his results may be average, but he's not. Which is the reason why I want to find out, why is a person average? Is it he's new in the industry, entry point, or is it someone who's been here for some time and is still average? Because that guy, there's something wrong here. First identify that.
Yeah.
Then based on where they are, we need to start giving them a new way of doing things. It's very clear. We get them to agree, look at your bank account. The reason you only have that amount in there is because of how you've been currently thinking and operating. Now, there is no way you're going to get more if you're going to bring the same way of operating. You could change agency to agency. It doesn't matter. It's the same you that's going there.
Yep.
There will be no change in your results. So we sit down, I give them a few assessments, I work out a plan for them. I do some sort of profiling without using a professional instrument. It's easy to do these when you sit with people. And then I give them an action plan, what they should be doing to take charge of their life. I manage and motivate them through goals. And now the goals have to be personal goals, because I wake up in the morning not for my company goals, I wake up for my own.
Yep.
Okay, and I check how important is it for them to achieve those goals, because you drive performance through the motivation that comes from their goals. See, skill I can give you, Olga. Knowledge I can give you. Heart I cannot give you.
Yeah.
And when things are going to be difficult in the industry, skill will not wake you up, but heart will wake you up. So I check their heart. And then I work with them to find that heart, even if they don't have it. If not, they should leave the industry.
Yeah. By average, I meant a normal broker who has been on the market for 2 years with the sales around 2-5 deals per month. Something like that. That was on my mind.
Okay.
But you made a very nice highlight, yeah.
Yes, even for someone like that, people can be closing deals, but do they really have that goal in life? Are they being driven by it, or are they just waking up every morning, coming in, managers are controlling their day, leads might be given to them, and they have to work. But that is, I'm working because I'm being pushed by somebody else.
Yeah.
And secondly, in a market like Dubai, which is having this 4th record-breaking year now, just because you're closing deals doesn't mean you're great. The world is coming to Dubai. Where can they go? Don't have. Europe is in trouble. The US is in trouble.
Yeah.
They won't go to China. They're not going to India. Where will they go? So they are coming here. So it doesn't mean that because you're doing the transactions, you're great at selling. You might be in off-plan. You might be taking a person and meeting a bright person in a developer office, and the credit of the deal goes to that person in this case. However, if you're a smart and a bright broker, the credit is yours. But we need to look at these things again before you can advise them, because there's no across-the-board kind of advice I could
Generic
give you.
advice,
It is based on each person. Your hurt is different. It's like telling me, okay, you're a doctor, this person is sick, what would you tell them to do? What would you tell them? What is he sick in? What is the reason he's having that? What's the back history? Then I can tell you what works for you, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, everything is so individual. Yeah, you don't have any. You cannot have any generic answer for that. I totally
Absolutely.
agree with you.
Humans are different.
Yeah, at the very end of each Art Capital podcast, I asked all my guests the same question: what is the best lesson that life has taught you?
Okay, the best lesson that life has taught me is to act immediately. The universe loves speed. It does not like haste. To act immediately. I think one of the biggest reasons why people are losing out in life is that they don't take action. Tony Robbins calls it massive action. He says, take massive action. Everybody makes plans. Everybody has this, I want this, but they don't act. And my biggest regret in life is I wish I had started earlier. So for me, again, see, the only person responsible for my results or lack of results, actually results, even failing to do something is a result, is me. There's nothing out there to stop me but me. So we teach people goal setting, but we don't teach people goal getting today. Goal setting anyone can do. Show me one program out there on goal getting. So I believe that is the area. For me, my biggest lesson that I got from life was this: you don't have time. Time respects no one. Opportunities are like sunrises. You blink or you show up late and it is gone.
Yeah.
That was my biggest lesson. To act immediately on whatever comes. Trust yourself. Trust the universe speaking to you. When the thought has come into your head, it came for a reason. Why didn't that thought come 2 months ago? Why didn't it come 5 years ago? It came now. Some higher intelligence there feels this is your moment. Trust it. What can go wrong? Act now.
You know, after you answer, something came up to my mind. There is a good proverb showcasing what you have just said. What differentiates successful person from unsuccessful is the time between a thought and an action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The faster you start, even if you fail, you know, just act. And even if you fail, you can take one more trial and one more and one more.
And there's something people don't realize. The more you allow the time to come, the much lesser the probability you will act. So it's not like if I delay by 10%, my potential to act is dropped by 10%. It's probably dropped by 30%. So when I keep delaying, I will almost reach a point where there's a zero chance that I will ever act on that. Secondly, the opportunity may have already gone.
I think we can say the same to our audience. So if you still delay your decision to invest in Dubai, just start acting as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Anand, thank you so much for our today's podcast. It was my pleasure. I'm really honored to have you today. And I hope it's not it's our first podcast, but not the last one.
Well, anytime. When I'm free, you let me know. We'll act now.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for having me.